there are those significant opportunities where sometimes you are doing it for free, and it's a matter of what you do, right? What you do when you're in the room that can determine whether or not you're able to monetize going forward. So what would be your thoughts for somebody who is thinking about, they want to do something, but let's say there's not a budget for them? What would be your advice?
Sure. I mean, it all depends what kind of space you're in, right? Because I think it's not like, it all depends on the situation. I think it's circumstantial, right? And most times people will try to get something for nothing, and they'll try to use you, and use what you have, which you have to realize if they're coming to you for that, you have some value, right? And so let it be a value exchange. Let there be a complete understanding. I think oftentimes, especially creatives and people who are just trying to make their passion into a career, they don't really understand how they should be communicating. This is my value. Here's what I'm bringing to you. Here's what I'd like in exchange. If for some reason there is no budget for that, right? Like I'd ask the questions of like, where this room isn't free, the food isn't free, where, in which, and why in this segment do you not value this enough to pay for it, right? And how important is it that this job gets done well? So that would be my first approach. I mean, obviously now knowing so much more, but back then the value was, okay, you're gonna have access to a person that you've never had access to. At this stage in the game, that early, 19 years old, yeah, perhaps you might want to take, you have the ability to take a few more risks, right, in that department and say, oh, I'll see how this pans out, right? And God willing, that client or that person that puts you in that position isn't just fully taking advantage. I think you're going to be able to identify that very, very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's something to the value exchange and being clear about what do you want out of the engagement, right? If there's not a budget or if money's not on the table, how else can you creatively create opportunity for yourself if you are choosing to do something for free? I always advise my clients and the students inside the Dare to Leap Academy, like, hey, if you're doing anything for free, there needs to be a strategy attached to it. There needs to be a strategy attached to it. Are you getting an email list? Are you getting introductions? Are you getting invited to another event? Like, what is the strategy with you choosing to do something for free?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because if there's a strategy attached to it, then there's value.
Absolutely. Then it makes sense, right? In that instance, you're like, okay, there's a value exchange here. Here's where this person could help me. Again, maybe listen, they themselves are doing, you could do something personal for somebody. And now they're in your sales funnel.
Right.
So this is a good thing. This is not, you don't shy away from those opportunities, but you have to manage them very well, and you pick and choose what those are.
Right.
Like I know people that'll get started, and let's say they're a photographer, they're a makeup artist, they're whatever, and they'll like a whole year they're doing free clients just to like get their reps in, type, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Practice at your house. Like don't practice on the job. Like go knock that out. Like your close friends and family, that's fine. But once you get out there, you have to kind of like set yourself up like a business. You have to treat this just like you would any other business. Just because it's a skill set or an art form doesn't really change that at all. You're still a vendor. You're still someone who's providing a service, and you deserve to get paid for that.
This is actually really good because new entrepreneurs tend to think that they need to put in their reps or need to build their portfolio, and so they do things for free. Again, it has to make sense. Yeah. Like it could make sense. Maybe you do need to have those in-person shots where you're able to create a portfolio that you present to a client that is going to pay you, right? Then there's strategy there. Okay, I need this content. I need this access. I need this picture with XYZ person, right? Then it makes sense. But if you're just doing it for practice, think about, again, what else can you get out of that exchange if you are doing it for free? Because I think also something strategic to doing things for free is relationship building. Like it is a way to kind of show what you can do. Like I know with some of my corporate clients, I rarely do anything for free. But sometimes I do come in at a lower point because I know like, okay, if I do this for you here, then you have to do this for me in the future. That's right. Even with that, there's no guarantee. Like there's no guarantee they're going to follow through on their promise. There's no guarantee that, there is going to be a budget for you next year. So everything is a risk. So you do have to do the risk assessment and see what makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just like you would do any other business, thing, which is, the cost benefit analysis. And you look at that and you say, hey, you know what? How does this benefit me? Even if it doesn't on the financial front. And again, your goal should be to make money and earn money in this, if you're just trying to replace an income, if this is a side hustle that you hope to turn into a career somehow, whatever those things are, it's very, very vital for you to take your time with those things, because also what you don't want to do is sell yourself short. If you've gotten the practice, if you know better now, you got your skill set up, does it benefit you to then share with them that, hey, I don't value this at anything. Like this thing that I'm going to bring to the table, I'm going to go and, let's say, DJ your party for 4 hours, whatever it might be, that, you know what, guess what? I could be persuaded, and kind of lose your bargaining there. Mm-hmm. You kind of lose that power there. It's because you should at least charge something. Like, something. Even if you're just getting started, I would recommend doing that.
Yeah, even if it's covering your travel.
Something, right? Like if it could at least be that, then it might be worth the opportunity cost to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get some stuff under my portfolio. I'm going to DJ live for people, whatever that might be, early on in your career. I'm totally comfortable with that. But you have to, like you said, set a strategy. It has to be an end time for this. This has to be otherwise you're going to end up giving this away for free, and you're going to get better and better at it. And why would I pay for something that I could get for free, right? Mm-hmm. Like the client is going to look at this and just say, hey, in this segment of things that I have to budget out for, that I don't have to budget out for because I got somebody great who's going to do it for free.
Yeah,
you know? And so like you lose your incomplete value in that space. So it's better. It's honestly what you say no to. Hold off a year. And I've had clients come back to me who've been like, oh, we don't have a budget. All of a sudden they get the cheaper guy, and then they come back a year later, or they come back, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to weed those people out and to wait on those clients to come back. And it's always, it's always very professional, and you kind of send them off with that. But the people will understand that this is a business and you're running a business as well. And, and you get what you paid for.
Right. And you teach people to treat you how you want to be treated.
That's exactly
right?
that.
If you're a premium asset, you have to show up in that way.
Completely.
Right?
Yeah. And again, and oftentimes, again, I don't know if it's just our culture or if it's just the creatives, they're so uncomfortable with speaking about money. They're so uncomfortable with the economic part of it. They're like, I love the art form of it, but the business side of it, it's very challenging for me. And for those people, I would just tell them like to get the help where you are not good at it, right? Like just seek those areas in which these are not your strong points. Find some help, partner up with someone, get a manager, get someone else to speak for you if this is something that but the same way that you practice your sets, same way you practice makeup, your photography, whatever it might be, make sure that you're practicing how to speak to clients, how to follow up with them, how your communication looks via email, everything. All that stuff is going to make a huge difference to whether or not you are going to get to continuously be booked and have this be a career. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's going to be a flash in the pan. You're not going to be able to weather the tough times, and then you'll ultimately eventually quit.
Totally.
Right? Yeah.
And I think maybe another way to reposition it for creatives is like,